Good morning. A big hello and welcome to the 7-day faculty development program organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of Arulmigu Palaniyandavar Arts College for Women, Palani, Tamil Nadu. I am Mrs. P. Selvi, the coordinator of IQAC of the college, welcoming all of you to this. Once again, a hearty welcome to the thousands of entrants to this program from various universities and colleges. On behalf of Madam Principal Dr. Bhuvaneshwari, I extend a warm welcome to all the entrants and I thank you for taking part in this program and active participation. Once again, I thank at this occasion the coordinators of this program, Dr. Uma Mageshwari, Assistant Professor of Zoology and member of IQAC, as well as Dr. Kalayarasi, Director of Physical Education, as well as a member of IQAC of our institution. I should say that at this occasion that the IQAC of the institution is taking golden steps, reaching the greater heights as well as the pinnacle of excellence, taking the institution to a greater level. And this is one such attempt we have been taking, conducting a 7-day faculty development program. What is the need of a topic like the directions and the dimensions taken by higher education in the modern days? First of all, we have to think of this 4.0 era. What is this? Education 4.0 is a blooming word that is coming up in the field of education, bringing in new sorts of words like big data, IoT, as well as AI. What are these terms standing for? What do they represent? These are the terms which grab a teacher of this modern day, a teacher who cannot escape from it unless she equips herself with the literacy of computer education. So, gone are those days when traditional teaching was happening in the classes. Now, a teacher has to equip herself first of all with the literacy of computer education, and next she needs some other accomplishments. What are they? Other than professing, a modern day lecturer or a professor has to be skillful in communication, computer literacy, a fluency in research, and she needs a skill in collaborative activities, and first of all she should know how to frame the curriculum of this modern day, because a student of this day is not a student of the traditional days. He or she is equipped with gadgets. The packets of the students are filled with modern tools which are very much needed for modern education. So, that is why the conclusion is arrived at that it is the right time that we have to think of the dimensions or the directions that higher education in the modern days are taking, and here we have a set of eminent scholars and resource persons to speak on the topic and elaborate on the various dimensions that higher education is taking, and ultimately I assure you at the end of this session you will be highly enriched with the information that they pass on to you. I deem it a great pleasure to welcome the resource persons of this 7-day faculty development program. First of all, I welcome Mr. Deepan Kumar, Assistant Professor of Department of Business Administration and Coordinator of IQAC, Geeta Jeevan College, Tuticorin. Mrs. Ramya, Head of the Department of History, Member of IQAC and Coordinator of Documentation Team of Kristu Jayanti College, Bangalore, Karnataka. Ms. Aruna Devi, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Computer Science and Member of IQAC, Kristu Jayanti College, Bangalore, Karnataka. Dr. Jayamala, Director, PG Department of Computer Applications, Fatima College, Madurai. Mrs. Selvarani, Head of the Department, UG Department of Computer Applications, Fatima College, Madurai. Dr. Jayakumari Beulah Vasanthi, Head of the Department of Computer Science and Coordinator of IQAC, Anja College, Sivakasi, Tamil Nadu. Once again, on behalf of the IQAC team of our institution, I extend a red carpet welcome to the entrants as well as the coordinators and the resource persons. Thank you.
A very pleasant good morning to you all, and today we are going to see about a concept called as Education 4.1, which is need of the hour. Education 4.0, it helps in achieving the excellence in higher education. And there are some grand holes of education, and the purpose behind this is, if you ask to a saints about an education, and they will tell that it is philosophical and learning is to be man-making as well as character-building education. But at the same time, when you're asking about this education to the generation of this particular age, to this today's generation, they will say it is all about practical. So they will tell that learning is to do economic as well as some job-oriented education. And there are some quality of education is there. And we are in a position to provide the learners with the capabilities to become an economically productive. Their economical situation has to be get improved. And we want to provide them a livelihood, and not a livelihood. It should be sustainable livelihood has to be get developed. And we want to make a contribution to peaceful as well as a democratic society. And I'm not sure that it is again a question mark, are we providing the same thing? And the fourth one is we want to enhance every individual as well as society as a well-being. There are some concepts of higher education we are going to see right now. We are in a position, we in the sense the higher education institution are in a position for the production of qualified human resources. Qualified is nothing but making or producing the human resources with appropriate skill sets and with an efficient and effective manner for the workforce. So that is what production of qualified human resources is all about. Then training for the research career. See, there is an immediate outbreak of this pandemic COVID-19, but how many of you have come across with some solutions for it? It's again a bigger question mark. So we should train our students in a research career so that innovation will be get practiced. Third one is efficient management of teaching profession. So as a teacher, okay, we have to have an efficient management. We want to practice in such a way to the ever-changing economy or the ever-changing situation that prevails in the market. The fourth one is matter of extending career opportunities. Earlier, it was three-dimensional where we work. One is education, then we work on research, then we work on extension, and now it becomes career opportunity, the placements. The NIRF, NAC, and everything was asking about the placement history from an institution. So there are some functions of higher education is there, and those are to cater to the skilled manpower needs of the nation, to prepare the students for research and teaching, to provide specialized training courses as per social and economic demands, to cater the aspects of the lifelong learning. So we want to provide a student with certain lifelong processes. So learning is a continuous process again. To promote international linkages should be there. That is what the final point is. There should be a very good concept called as networking. A faculty exchange program should be there. A student exchange program should be there. Technology transfer program should be there. Okay, so only then internationalization concept will get emerged. Then we are during this COVID-19, which was again a great challenge for every one of us. The invisible has changed the world upside down. Yes, virus is an invisible one, and which changed the entire world upside down. WHO wants coronavirus will never go away, and even our Indian government has warned that we have to live with the virus, and that creates many new situations, and we started living in a new normalcy. And classrooms are not going to be the same after this period gets end. When you are getting into the classroom month of September, the classroom is not going to be the same thing. We are going to follow social distancing, all precaution measures has to be going to get taken. So you can't find the same classroom what you have taught in the last academic year, which that will prevail in the forthcoming academic years also. There will be some changes will be there, and every institutional functioning is going to be different thereon. Earlier it was pedagogy, then it becomes peer learning system. We called it as peergogy. Now everyone we are virtually we are connected. It becomes cybergogy. And there are webinars. Most of the professors are attending nearly 5 to 10 webinars daily. And few of them are taking it on right sense, enriching their knowledge out of these webinars. And most of them for the e-certificate process, we are doing this webinar programs. So even for some, it is webinar, and for most of them, it is boring nar. And the total education change is highly inevitable. If we teach today the way we were taught yesterday, we are preparing the students for today and tomorrow. How our teachers taught us, how we got practiced over it. If they do the same thing to this generation or the people or the students to whom we are teaching today, we can't prepare them for the tomorrow. So that is what the saying is all about. Then let's see about some history of industrial revolution. So it was like from right 1.0 till we have 4.0, and 5.0 is also going to come. So every 100 years, there is some changes was there. There is some revolution was getting happen in the industry. At the time of 1.0, it was mechanization, where we produced industrial production was based on the machines, which was powered by water as well as steam. In 2.0, it becomes electrification. We have mass production assembling lines was there. And 3.0, it is automation. The electronics and computers played a vital role, and everything was got automated. And in 1980, the 3.5 globalization, even in 1991, we all know a concept called as LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization, that prevents the market. And offshoring to all those things, it becomes a low cost. We are in a process or on a verge of producing a low cost economies. And 4.0 is today where we are living is the concept called as digitalization, and many buzzwords like data analytics, artificial intelligence, big data, all those things, all these technologies are automated for process further. And 5.0 definitely it is future, and again it is going to be personalization, where a human is back into the industrial production with some collaborative robots and workers will be upskilled to provide some value-added task in the production. Then there are some 6 drivers of change in the workplace, which happens. One is extreme longevity, where people will live longer. The second one is the rise of smart machines and systems. So there is a concept called as, there is a technology concept called as augment and extended R1 capabilities will be there. So automation in the workplace will get happen. And computational world is nothing but the data is ruling the entire world nowadays. Even at the time of COVID-19, daily we are getting about the data, geographical data about the infected now in numbers. So there is an increases in sensors and processing, and that makes the entire world a programmable system. Then new media ecology, it is visual communication media is going to become a new vernacular nowadays, and superstructured organization. So if the impact of social media technologies, new form of production is going to get happen, and there exists a value creation within the organization. Next one is globally connected people. So I told you, we're sitting here, we can break the monopoly market. Sitting here in India, you can work for US and UK also. And these are the future work skills that we have come across now. What is taught and what is learned? Okay, what we usually taught is a formal curriculum, but the hidden, there is a bigger hidden curriculum is there. See the percentage of it. Young people need skills and experience for jobs for the future. But do you know one thing? 70% of the workforce in an industry was replaced or radically affected by automation. And think about the occupation. Most of the people, the freshers, will get an entry level of jobs. And now the entry level roles for the young people started disappearing. And the training what we are giving for the students, again, it is 60% of the students are being trained in jobs that will be radically changed by automation. Let's see about the generational gap. To whom we are teaching right now is the G generation. It was earlier, it was face-to-face interaction, and now it becomes virtual interaction. It was less controlled by social media, and now the age of Android is playing a vital role nowadays. We have a habit called as book reading, but now they are very much surfing on the videos in WhatsApp, internet, etc. Earlier it was talk and talk teaching, and now we have different modes of teaching. We have collaborative learning, we have project-based learning, we have experiential learning, active-based learning. We have n number of learnings are there. There are different modes of teaching is getting happen. And earlier it was fixed career path, and now it is diverse career path. Previously, we are very limited to access certain information, but there is an abundance of information now this generation can easily access. Coming to the job world, in the past scenario, it was 20% was professional in a higher level position, 30% business and official personnel, 50% are laborers. But now you think of it, 15% are unqualified seasonal worker, and 85% are self-educated hardworking workforce. And what is the need of the hour right now is high level of competency is the need of the hour. Let's see about overview of education 4.0, like how we have a history of industry 4.0. The same thing we'll have a history about the education 4.0 also. So in education 1.0, centuries of experience with memorization played a vital role. Then education 2.0, we invented certain printing presses, and we have an availability of study materials within us. Education 3.0, it is knowledge through internet. We gain knowledge through internet. And education 4.0, again, it is a learner centric, and this is an innovation oriented ecosystem. And there is a shift is need, the paradigm shift of education 4.0. A shift is getting happen nowadays. Earlier, now what we are offering the programs, no, it is supply-led education. An education institution has come up with a program. I have a program on BCom, BBA, and I'm supplying it to the students to the market. But now this is going to be replaced by demand-led. A student will come to you will ask for a course, and you are in a position to customize the course for him. Okay, simple thing. After implementing of this new education policy, soon the gone are the days are going to get changed. It becomes 3 years of your program will become 4 years. The arts and science college will change as liberal arts and science colleges. So there is a vast changes of is going to get happen after the implementation of this new education policy system. So people will come to you instead of 3 years of your program, it is going to be 4 years of a program. Students, the first 2 years, they will learn the things which is essential for them. Then they'll go for the conceptual base or the subject based or the program in which they have enrolled. They'll go for that particular education. Next, it is competency based instead of knowledge based. Previously, we gave it for the knowledge. Now it is again competency based. Incorporation of disruptive technologies and skill sets. Lifelong learning is playing a vital role. Instead of making the students front loading, we want to make the students, or we want to motivate the students for the lifelong learning processes. And modular degree instead of one shot going. And we are in a position to emphasize on emotional intelligence and rather than IQ. And we have to focus on purposefulness, mindfulness to happiness and well-being. There are 5 I's of learning education 4.0. Number 1 is imbibing. Imbibing is nothing but internalizing the basic concept, because nowadays we have multiple sources, and out of all multiple sources we can learn the things. So that is what imbibing is all about. Then iterating. Iterating is nothing but practicing some fundamental skills rigorously, practicing it. Okay, so for example, I can tell gamification of tests. And interpreting, taking facts from study and applying them to different situation with adaptive alteration. Okay, so that is what the iterative. The student has to go with the research. The faculty has to come up with a question to them. That is again a project-based learning. Put forth a question, and this question spark among the students, and they want to do a research, and they want to come up with some alternatives, and they can adapt the best alternatives out of what all those alternatives what they have got. Then interest. The 4th I is interest, and we have to create a curiosity of learning for the students. We want to develop a deep, and we want to make them to create further body of knowledge. Last 5 years, 5th I is innovating. So we want to think differently. Okay, we want to innovate things. Most of the institutions fail to do it, but after this, it is going to be ideation is going to get happen. Most of innovative ideas is going to generate out of this education 4.0. Need for education 4.0 framework. Why a curriculum has to be come up with this education 4.0 framework is earlier it was agriculture economy, then industrialized, now knowledge, and now it is innovation society. We all are living in a world called as VUCA world. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. The actions and the situations, okay, that plays a vital role. So we want to ready for this. We want to cope up with this VUCA world. And the skill sets, what is required nowadays in the market is, earlier in 2015, it was these 10 skill sets which was required by the industries, which was needed by the industry. One is complex problem solving, coordinating with others, people management, critical thinking, negotiation, quality control, service orientation, judgment and decision making, active listening, and creativity. But in 2020, the same thing, but these 2 things were replaced. Quality control and active listening was replaced with emotional intelligence and cognitive flexibility. These are the skills of tomorrow, which is needed for the industry ready world. Number 1 is new media literacy. You should have an ability to critically access and develop the content. Virtual collaboration, ability to work productively. Okay, there should be some virtual team should be there. We want to work productively in the virtual team. Third is cognitive load management. This is one of the drivers where informations for importance has to be get evolved. Social intelligence. This is nothing but ability to connect to others in a deep and a direct way. Okay, so that is what social intelligence is. It is nothing but for a design interaction and simulate reactions, we need social intelligence. And excuse me, the next one is computational thinking. So computational thinking is the ability to translate vast amounts of data into abstract concepts. so that an individual can easily understand certain things. Next, transdisciplinary. It is again a literacy and ability to understand concepts across multiple disciplines. We have a concept called as design mindset. This is nothing but the ability to represent and develop task and work processes for the desired outcomes. Cognitive load management is one of the driver. Novel and adaptive thinking is there. Proficiency at thinking and coming up with a solution for a problem is what novel and adaptive thinking. Then sense making. It is a deeper meaning of significance of what is being expressed. And these are the 10 key skills which are required now. One is complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, service orientation, negotiation, cognitive flexibility. And we want to have come up with a concept called as empathy. So it is up to us to create a challenging purpose. We want to stimulate the personal development of the students too. And these are the characteristics of education 4.0. Now, sitting here, I can learn from you, and sitting there, you can learn from me. That is what anytime, anywhere, learning should get happen. A student should have come across with a customized learning, a tailor-made learning thing. Instead of units, it will be replaced as modules, where there will be some continuity will be there. Now, already it was replaced, the professor centric was replaced the student centric, and they decide what they want now instead of what we decide on us. Project based learning is there, experiential learning through internships and projects. We have to make them to get exposure to interpretational data and application oriented concepts, and there should be some differential assessments of students should be there. So the assessments pattern has to be get changed. There should be some rubrics have to be get played over there, because we are telling it as assessment, but most of the students are telling it as harassment. And students' role in curriculum design is more important, okay? Because we have our own alumni over there, and we'll decide on everything. To the first meeting will be there. Alumni will not say anything because they are their own. Teachers are sitting in front of them. Finally, we will conclude that the curriculum was reframed. That should not get happen. We should have a quality of people from an industry who can help us in setting the curricula. Teachers should act as a facilitators also. And what are the action plans for implementing for Education 4.0? We should focus on 4 C's. One is communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. Programming and ICT should make it as more compulsory courses. Okay, so everything we want to make a compulsory program. Okay, amidst computer science background, entire programs what you're offering in the institution should come up with an ICT enabled compulsory courses, so that they can enrich their knowledge in the computer literacy also. Then industry oriented curriculum. Our curriculum should more focus on industry, so that we can make the students industry ready. So industry-based verticals can also be added over there on the curriculum. Then digital-based curriculum delivery is there. All dimensions of education should be oriented or aligned towards the Industry 4.0. And there are some strategies to support Education 4.0. We want to encourage play-based learning. Okay, that is what gamification is all about. Then breakdown learning. Okay, instead of breaking it as a bigger parts, we want to break it as a smaller parts, and coordinating the pieces. There should be some learning process should get happen. Create a self environment for learning. Develop a growth mindset. Foster nurturing relationship. Allow time to focus on certain things, and foster reflective reasoning and analysis. And these are the strategies that will help or assist or support us in implementing this Education 4.0. And some more is also there, which offer appropriate price, some inquiry-based learning, help students to take advantages of their own personality and stress, provide appropriate challenges for the system, offer engaged caregiving for them, provide clear learning objectives targeting explicit skills. Only if they know learning objectives, their skills will be get explicited, and use hands-on approaches. And these are some strategies that will definitely support Education 4.0. How is that our curriculum should be? Okay, I have given it in 3 points. One is basic competency, domain-specific competency, and transferable skills. So basic competency is nothing but, okay, before getting enrolled into a course, we should have some bridge courses where a fundamental knowledge can be given. Say for an example, if a BCom student is having business mathematics, where he haven't come across with the word business mathematics in his school education, or +1 and +2, he'll be having commerce and accountancy, where he haven't studied that particular subject. So we can have a bridge course on mathematics for non-mathematics students. So thereby we can provide a fundamental knowledge for the student. So that is what a basic competency is all about. Second one is domain specific competency. Here we are focusing on the subject, design and business. Third one is transferable skills. So here skill sets plays a vital role. What are the skill sets we are going to inculcate to the students? Problem solving skills, soft skills, system thinking skills, business thinking, techno literacy, strategical thinking skills. So all these will enrich the curriculum design. A curriculum framework, it should be field exposure. We want to give domain expertise knowledge. Practical knowledge should be also there and extending beyond all this. Okay, this is how a curriculum has to be get framed. What are the points to be kept in curriculum framework design is basic knowledge requirement. That what I told you earlier, bridge courses and core courses. Okay, major papers we should have, and elective courses. Most of the institution, they have 10 number of electives, but the choice of the elective is in the hands of the learner, in the hands of the students, and not on the professors. Out of 10, they'll give 3 SE. What is this? Excuse me. Out of 10 elective courses, they will give 3 as elective courses. So it is not choice on the professor basis. It is choice on the learner's basis. Then supportive courses should be there. Computational courses should be there. Some practical courses we have to give. And it should be enriched with internship, field placements, and on-job training. And what is the thing that we want to focus when we're talking about education 4.0? And these are the things. And these are the buzzwords I told you earlier. Artificial intelligence, robotics, Internet of Things, big data analytics, autonomous vehicles, bionanotechnology, 3D printing, material science, quantum computing, energy saving, decision science, business analytics, forecasting, interdisciplinary knowledge, machine learning, deep learning. Here then we are not going to have management. It is going to be replaced as decision science. Even mathematics is going to be replaced as data analytics. This is what is going to happen nowadays. And the assessment we should have a varied assessment patterns also. Instead of conventional methods, we want to have game-based, task-based, project-based, individual-based, and this evaluation should stay on. The best way to predict the future is to create it. And with this, we conclude on the concept called as Education 4.0. I request all the professors to become a change champion. When you're moving to your institution in the month of September, after the college gets open for the next academic year, you should come up with certain values. You should bring value to your own table. Only then our students will accept us. If not, we are underestimated and our students will move on. So it is up to us to make it or to become a change champion and move ahead. We all wish you a very great success. Thank you.